Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of ChristianVeganism.com. Today, I want to talk to you about how carnists behave towards you as a vegan. I've seen this so many times from people who will say, well, I don't mind you being a vegan, or I accept you being a vegan. Now, this is an interesting approach because they have no moral high ground to accept or reject their opinion about you being a vegan. They don't have a position of high standing in regards to that. They're in the gutters with the trash and the filth because their morality is bankrupt. Because they have no desire for mercy, no desire for compassion. They endorse and blatantly participate in cruelty and tremendous harm on this planet. Their approval means nothing. And it's arrogant in the highest extreme because they think that you're seeking their approval or that you're this lesser than, so you need their approval and their endorsement for everything to be all right. When no one is asking their opinion, no vegan should care about any kind of endorsement from somebody who's morally bankrupt, somebody who rejects truth. Now, it's different. There's people out there who are not malicious. They are completely ignorant about the situation of how food gets to their table, how animal flesh gets to their table, how meat, dairy, and eggs, all these things, they don't know. There are even some people that have no clue about what meat in this form of animal flesh is. And they have no earthly idea that milk, for example, is not some harmless, compassionate thing where you're just taking some milk from a cow who enjoys it, but that there's true, immense cruelty involved in just obtaining milk. And so there's obviously a lot of people out there who are just ignorant, and they don't know. And those people would make changes because they are compassionate people and they don't want to harm other beings. They just don't know. But there are the rest, the ones who would be the ones telling you this, that, oh, I approve of you being a vegan, or I accept you being a vegan. I've had people tell me that, and I have to tell them point blank, and this is what you need to do. You need to be kind, but you also need to be blunt with these people, that I didn't ask your approval. And I don't want your approval. You're not in a moral position to tell me anything. This is like the slave owners. If you read, the United States, after slavery, many states put money into interviewing slaves and interviewing slave owners. And they have these historical records of the interviews of slaves and slave owners. And unlike what movies show, every slave was not getting beaten and everything like that. But see, here's the problem. Some of these slave owners, former slave owners, talked as if, well, they were the good ones because they were kind to their slaves. And they used literally the exact same arguments that the farmers today use of, well, we wouldn't harm our animals because it wouldn't do us any good. They're supposed to be productive. And that's exact same arguments that slave owners use. Well, we wouldn't beat our slaves because if they're injured, then they can't work for us. And obviously there's some truth to that. But the question is not even asked, because these people are so bankrupt morally, is who gave you the right to own another human being and to think that that's right, that you have any right to own another human being? It doesn't matter if you treat them well. Obviously, yes, if you're a slave owner and you treat your slaves well, that's better than the slave owner that treats their slaves poorly. But it's still evil. Maybe you are less evil, but you're still evil. And that's the position these non-vegans are in, is that they're still evil. They have no moral right to pronounce a judgment on you of whether you are approved by them or not. It doesn't matter. They haven't even gotten past the most basic level of asking themselves if what they're doing is right. So they'll talk about humane meats and cage-free and all this stuff to make it sound like they're doing some good, humane compassionate thing to these animals, then they've never even broached the initial subject that needs to be broached about, is it right to eat animals? Is it right to use them, to exploit them for their bodies and for their food and for their babies? Just like those slave owners of old. And I'm not comparing slavery with the animal issue today. I'm just making a point that the same approach is taken, the same evil attitude, dismissing the logical conclusion, dismissing the morality and the ethics of how you treat animals, and just going on to presume doing less of something makes you good. No, it doesn't. So my friend, I want to encourage you today, don't get caught up in this nonsense where people are trying to get you to seek their approval or to thank them for their approval. Their approval means nothing. They're not in a moral position to approve of anything or to put any kind of stamp of approval as if something's all right, because what they are doing is evil. So my friend, I want to encourage you, if you're a vegan, please get my book, Why Every Christian Should Be a Vegan, because this is very important. I go through all kinds of issues from the scripture and from life about these various topics, and it'll really help you, put you in a firm position to explain your veganism to other professing Christians. But if you're not a vegan, you're a Christian, I encourage you to get the book as well, because it's a book I wish I would have had before I was a vegan, because I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was a Christian, and I thought I loved animals, but how could I truly love animals when I'm eating them? It's just not possible. That's like the slave owner talking about themselves being a good person, patting themselves on the back because they treat their slaves well, never realizing they should never own another human being. And it's evil to own another human being. Doesn't matter how well you treat them. So my friend, I want to encourage you today, don't get caught up in the approval from non-vegans. They're not coming from a good place morally to approve or disapprove anything. Their opinion is irrelevant. You want the opinion of God, the opinion of other fellow believers who are walking in the light as He is in the light. So once again, I want to encourage you, get the book. I'll put a link in the description to it, Why Every Christian Should Be a Vegan by Ryan Hicks. It'll be an absolute blessing for you. And if you've already read it, or maybe you even haven't, but you know other Christians who are not vegans, or you know vegans who are not Christians, get this book for them, because this will truly be a blessing for them, and it will help cause less harm in this planet. Have more animals live good, happy lives, not to be abused and exploited. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.